Chapter 1. The Map in the Wind. Zaya was no ordinary girl. She had a wild mess of curly hair, a backpack full of snacks and notebooks, and a heart that beat a little faster every time she heard the word adventure. She lived in a quiet village at the edge of a silver forest where nothing ever really happened, or so people said. But Zaya believed there was always something magical waiting to be discovered. One windy afternoon, Zaya sat beneath her favorite tree, sketching birds in her notebook. The breeze played with the pages, flipping them like impatient fingers. Then, whoosh! A strange paper flew right into her lap. It was old, yellowed, and marked with unusual drawings. At the top, in fancy letters, were the words, "Map to the Sky Island for the one who believes." Zaya's eyes widened. A sky island? Could such a place be real? She glanced around. No one else seemed to notice the mysterious map fluttering through the wind. Carefully, she folded it and tucked it inside her backpack, her fingers tingling with excitement. That night, while everyone else in the village slept soundly, Zaya lay wide awake, staring at her ceiling. Her heart thumped like a drum. The map had a trail marked with stars, clouds, and strange symbols, and at the end, a floating island high above the clouds. She whispered to herself, "I'm going to find it." The next morning, Zaya packed her bag with crackers, a notebook, 2 pencils, a flashlight, her compass, and the map. She told her pet bird, Echo, "Keep an eye on the house for me, okay?" Echo chirped twice, then fluffed his feathers like he was saluting her. With a deep breath and a bigger smile, Zaya stepped outside. The wind tugged gently at her coat like it was cheering her on. She didn't know how far she would go or what she would face, but something in her heart whispered that this journey would change everything. And with that, she marched into the silver forest, following the map's trail and the tug of destiny. Chapter 2. The Whispering Trees. Zaya had walked deeper into the silver forest than ever before. The trees here shimmered in the sunlight, their bark pale and smooth like moonlight. Their long, whispering leaves rustled in a language that only the brave could almost understand. She followed the map carefully. It showed a crooked path shaped like a lightning bolt. At the tip of the bolt was a symbol of a tree with glowing roots. Zaya looked up, then down at her compass, then back at the map. "I'm close," she whispered, gripping the paper tighter. Suddenly, she heard a sound. Not wind, not bird song. A soft hum, low and steady. It seemed to come from the trees themselves. "Hello?" she called out, not scared, just curious. That was when a breeze blew gently past her ear, carrying words that didn't sound like her own thoughts. "Only the kind-hearted may pass." Zaya froze. She spun around, eyes wide, heart pounding. Who said that? No one answered. But the leaves rustled again, louder this time, in a rhythm almost like a song. Then she saw it, right in front of her. A little tree stump with a carved face. Its eyes blinked. Zaya gasped. "You're alive." The stump's eyes glowed softly. "So are you, but only one of us knows the way forward." Zaya stepped closer. "I'm looking for the Sky Island. This map brought me here." The stump smiled, or at least it tried to. "Then you must pass the kindness test. No one finds the island without helping someone else first." Zaya tilted her head. "But who do I help?" The stump didn't answer. It simply looked to the right. Zaya followed its gaze and saw a young fox with one paw caught in a tangle of brambles. Its fur was red as fire, and its eyes were full of fear. Without a second thought, Zaya dropped her bag and ran to the fox. "Hey there, little one. I've got you," she said gently. Carefully, she untangled the brambles, whispering soothing words as the fox whimpered softly. When the paw was free, the fox licked her hand and nuzzled her cheek before darting off into the forest. When she turned back to the stump, it had vanished. In its place stood a glowing path of golden moss, winding deeper into the forest. Zaya's heart swelled. So that was the test. She picked up her bag, her compass, and her courage, and stepped onto the golden path. The map in her pocket shimmered faintly, as if pleased. Something magical had just begun. Chapter 3. The Bridge That Wasn't There. The golden moss led Zaya to the edge of the forest where the trees stopped suddenly, like someone had drawn a line and told them not to grow past it. Beyond that line was a wide, open space filled with clouds, not just above her, but around her. A strange silvery fog blanketed everything. Zaya stepped carefully to the edge and gasped. There was no ground, only sky. She had reached a cliff so high, it seemed to float between heaven and earth. A gust of wind nearly knocked her backward, but she steadied herself and looked out. There, just ahead, suspended in the clouds, was a long, narrow bridge. Or was it? Zaya rubbed her eyes. The bridge looked like it was made of light. Thin golden beams connected one side of the sky to the other, and the bridge shimmered like a rainbow you could walk on. But there was a problem. The bridge kept blinking. One moment it was there. The next, it disappeared. Great, Zaya muttered. A bridge that plays hide and seek. She unfolded the map. Right where she stood, a symbol of a blinking eye was drawn over the cliff's edge, along with words scribbled in a curly script. Only those who trust may cross. Zaya's legs felt a little wobbly. This was not a normal adventure. This was the kind of thing you read about in bedtime stories or fairy tales. She took a deep breath and whispered, "Trust." Then she did something that surprised even herself. She took a step forward, into thin air. For one terrifying second, her foot fell, and then caught. A beam of light lit up under her shoe, solid and glowing. Zaya smiled. Okay, one step at a time. She kept going. The bridge appeared only when she trusted enough to take the next step. It was the scariest game of invisible hopscotch she had ever played. Halfway across, clouds swirled around her. She could not see the beginning or the end. Doubt whispered, "What if the bridge disappears forever? What if you fall?" But her heart whispered louder, "Keep going." So she did. When she finally stepped onto solid ground again, the bridge behind her disappeared into sparkles. She looked up and saw something ahead that made her breath catch in her throat. A floating staircase, made of stone and vines, spiraled into the sky. Zaya grinned. "I'm really going to the sky, aren't I?" She adjusted her backpack, smiled at the clouds, and started to climb. Something incredible was waiting at the top. And Zaya was not turning back. Chapter 4: The Island Above the Clouds. Zaya climbed the spiraling staircase, one careful step at a time. It twisted higher and higher into the sky, and soon the world below disappeared under a sea of clouds. The air turned cooler, crisper, almost sparkly. Her heart thumped with every step, not from fear, but from wonder. Then suddenly, the stairs ended. Zaya blinked. She was standing on the edge of a floating island. It was real. The map had told the truth. The sky island stretched wide before her, like a dream come to life. Grass glowed a soft blue. Flowers as tall as her waist sang when the wind passed. Waterfalls flowed upward. Butterflies with wings like stained glass fluttered through the air. And in the center of it all stood a giant crystal tree, its trunk shimmering with silver and its branches dripping with golden leaves that rang like tiny bells. Zaya stood frozen. "It's the most beautiful place I've ever seen." A voice behind her said gently, "And you are the first one in 100 years to reach it." Zaya spun around. There stood an old woman with silver braids, eyes like warm starlight, and a cloak made of feathers. "Who are you?" Zaya asked. The woman smiled. "I am the keeper of the Sky Island. This place only appears to those who believe, who show kindness, and who trust beyond what they can see. You have done all three." Zaya's cheeks flushed. "I just followed the map." The keeper stepped closer. "Many have found the map. Few have passed the tests, but you, Zaya, you are different. You do not just dream, you act." Zaya's eyes lit up. "Does that mean I can stay here?" The keeper chuckled softly. "The Sky Island is not a place to live. It is a place to learn, to be reminded of what lives inside you. Courage, kindness, curiosity. What you found here is not meant to stay hidden. It is meant to go back with you." Zaya looked down at her hands. "So I have to go home?" "Not have to," the keeper said, placing a glowing leaf into Zaya's palm. "You get to, with new eyes, with new strength." Zaya looked around once more. The wind carried the song of the trees. The waterfalls danced like ribbon in the sky. The butterflies swirled like they were cheering her on. She nodded slowly. "Then I'll carry the Sky Island in my heart." The keeper smiled wider. "And that is exactly how it's meant to be." A breeze lifted Zaya into the air, gentle and glowing. As she drifted back down through the clouds, the map tucked itself back into her backpack, now blank. She knew it had done its job. Her feet touched the edge of the silver forest. The trees seemed taller, the sky bluer, everything more alive. Zaya grinned. This was just the beginning of her adventures.